right, Joe. So tell us a little bit also about the title track, Dust Bowl, which kind of really has this kind of almost spaghetti western type sound to the kind of the intro riff there.
Yeah, it is an interesting kind of sound for me to kind of experiment with, being more into the blues world. But I kind of wrote this song that it started in pieces. I had the verses, and then we needed a chorus, and Kevin Shirley said we needed a chorus, so I kind of spent a couple of days writing the song. And the basis behind the whole song is this kind of cowboy guitar, we call it. It's basically kind of straight up like Dwayne Eddy style, you know. And you got to have the Bigsby for it, and it's really cool because at the end of the day, it does give a different texture, especially in the context of a lot of like heavy, British style blues, to have this kind of almost spaghetti western song thrown in. And I think it's one of the strongest songs I've ever written. And again, we play it live, and we kind of mess around with the solos and the things a little bit different than what the record is, because there's a lot of instruments on the record. There's jarras and baglama, and there's a mandolin, and there's and everybody's going, and they're all playing the and it's very hard to recreate that live. So we kind of like, I use a Leslie pedal, Hughes and Kettner Rotosphere, and I set on slow speed, and it kind of does that. So, it kind of does that cowboy guitar, and yeah, it's a real fun song to play.
When you're soloing over these type of tunes, is when it's more of like a one chord vamp. Do you kind of approach it differently than maybe a standard blues changes or something with more unusual changes?
Well, I do. I mean, you can kind of float in between the 1 and the 4, and even sometimes the 5. You can really create your own chord structure within just kind of a one chord. And you kind of like float in between the 1s and the 4s, and it just basically, my new thing is, especially with the live show, is every night we have a basic structure of what the songs are. And with our new drummer Tal Bergman and the rest of the group here, we basically throw caution to the wind and try to make something new happen every night. And sometimes we fall flat on our face, or I do, and then sometimes it's magic, and that's been my new concept I've been really getting into. So none of the solos are structured ever. There's a few ins and outs, but nothing. All the actual block of the soloing is just kind of just off the top of my head.
And as you were soloing there, I could hear influences of Eric Johnson. Was he a big influence when you were, and maybe still is?
Oh yeah, I mean Eric is like one of my the two Erics in my life is Clapton and Eric Johnson. And it's like he's his sound and his way his phrasing was, and the way you kind of put pentatonics and different modes together, and extreme influence on me, and a real nice guy, and I think one of the innovators of modern electric guitar, because he was able to put together a setup and a sound, where everything was autonomous, where it was like his clean sound was a different rig than his overdrive and everything else. I kind of like do it slightly differently. I just kind of play much louder and back off the volume when I need a clean sound. So, but yeah, he's a huge influence.
So tell us a little bit about your guitar here with the Bigsby.
This is the one that's on the truck. If you ever seen our truck, this guitar was built, I think, 1995, 1996. I bought it from the famous House of Guitars in Rochester, New York, and I basically saved up every penny I had and had to sell a guitar that I was using at the time to buy it. And it was my, for touring, it was my first really good, Les Paul, and it's been modified over the last decade or so. And I put the black pickguard and the black hardware on it. And this Bigsby I found in a drawer a long time ago, and it came with a guitar that I don't know, it was like an old K or something like that. And one day at rehearsal, my tech and I were just kind of bored, and I'd stopped using this thing for some reason. It just kind of fell out of favor. And I said, Dave, why don't you just throw the Bigsby on there for fun, see what happens. We didn't know anything about Bigsby's and how the things. No, I don't even think we lined it up properly. But it went on the guitar, and all of a sudden the whole guitar just like got a whole new lease on life. And it's a very cool top because it's kind of mismatched, but in a cool way. It looks like this part looks like it's on fire. And some very nice man in Germany made the Bonamassa that is now on the headstock. So, and it's got Grovers on it like I always use, and this thing's been around the world with me a lot. And I love this guitar, and it recently came back out because I was like very sentimental, and I'm like going, well, either I go home and look at it or I take it out and play it, and I'm like going, well, I'll just play it. That's the thing about guitars. Don't leave them at home, just play them. It is what it is. I use a lot. We're using a lot of different ones. We're going through about 10 guitars a night this tour, but we're doing 20 songs, so I'm averaging 2 or 3 songs a guitar. You know, I play hard. You know, and I'll usually knock the tuning out of them by the end of the second song. A lot of bends and stuff like that. And but yeah, we go through everything from this guitar to, you know, a couple of my signature ones, a gold top and a sunburst, and we go through a really cool 1972 ES 355, just like Freddie King played with the Gibson stamped in the pickups. That was my first and only eBay purchase. I'll never purchase anything on eBay again. I was buying guitars from a guy named Mr. Shades, and it was all very. I felt like I was in the CIA. I'm not doing it. Then they gave me a bad rating. I'm going, dude, I'm just honest here. Anyway, I like cash and carry guitars. But anyway, not to say if you buy guitars on eBay you're a bad person, but I won't be buying them from you. But it just scared me. But I finally got this 355, and it's really cool.
I noticed here that the on the back pickup you have it up almost against the strings as well on the Bonabird. Is that something you look for? And
a lot of output. I mean, a lot of my overdrive just comes from the amp. So I get a lot of the overdrive from the amps. So I like pickups that have a bit of a punch. I think these are the original ones that came with the guitar. They're like 57 classics or something, but they have a good punch. But they clean up well. So yeah, that's what that's why I use them. I always have them I always put my hand down like this, and then I just set them so there's like maybe a half a centimeter between that and the pickup.
All you give me is indecision, the classic run around.